Evaluation Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? For the poster that I've made, I researched thriller and psychological thriller posters for existing films so that I had a rough idea as to what to base mine on. For example, what style of images to use, what style of font to use, and how to lay out the poster in a conventional style. I found that all of the existing posters I had found had a large element of simplicity to them, with subtle hints as to what the film is about. The majority of the posters showed the main protagonist from a medium long shot, with either a background shot or a one colour background, with the main character protruding and standing out from the background. They also tend to show a prop or important backgrounds in the poster which relate to the film. An example of this is the Bourne film posters. All of the posters for the Bourne film showing the main character Jason Bourne with a gun in his hand and the film location in the background. However, the background is normally blurred out so that it isn't too obvious to the audience. This helps to paint the picture of the film with subtle hints as to what will happen in the film. The James Bond Daniel Craig posters took the other approach with having the main character against a plain coloured background, with the main character in an action shot that stands out from the background. Similarly to the Bourne posters, the Bond posters all showed him holding a gun or relevant prop. This means that I've decided to follow this convention and have placed a relevant prop in my poster so that I follow the convention for other thriller films. The prop that I used was the hospital band. I decided, however, to challenge the convention of just having the main character on the front cover as just a medium long shot. I challenged this by having a couple of different shots of the main character, including long shots, close-ups, as well as having the bad guy on the front cover and the prop as another photo. I have followed the convention of partially showing the location for the film, but it isn't too clear so that the audience have a slight clue as to where it is set, without giving too much away, which is conventional based off of the other posters I've looked at for the genre. By having multiple images, it helped to break up the poster and it made it more relevant to the film that I'd come up with, whereas the Bourne and Bond films are spy films and mine isn't, so it seemed more appropriate to lay out the poster in the way that I have done. I broke up the poster by using a piece of broken glass and placing the images in the cracks of the glass. I did this because the film is called Broken Mind, so the broken glass links to the film's plot and title. The font that I've used for the word broken is also a broken glass font, which also links to the rest of the poster and the plot of the film. I used a serif font for the word mind. This is to fit in the convention of thriller films because they tend to use serif fonts, which makes the posters slightly more serious and more formal. I also added a mirror effect to the word mind. This is because it gives a subtle hint that the character is looking into a reflection of reality, but it isn't too obvious in the film until the end. I challenged the convention of having the billing block that contains the director, main actor, the editor, etc. because it didn't fit in very well with the poster and it was distracting away from the main images. It also covered up some of the main images so I couldn't get it to fit in on the poster, so therefore I thought I'd challenge the convention by not including it. For my trailer I watched several thriller trailers so that I could get an idea of what conventions they include so that I could follow them. One of the main conventions is the pace of the trailer and the speed of the shots in the trailers. Many of the trailers that I watched had a fast-paced trailer with lots of shots that were edited together with fast-paced editing. This added to the speed of the trailer. It also helped to build up suspense and tension for the end of the trailer. Several of the trailers that I watched started off slow, but then built up to the climax at the end of the trailer. So this is what I tried to do too to fit into the convention. I started off at a fairly slow pace with longer shots, and as the trailer went on I added more smaller shots and tried to increase the pace of the trailer as to build up a climax for the end. This was to draw the audience in slowly and then capture them to retain them until the end of the trailer and to build up the sense of tension. I would have liked to have increased the speed of the shots I used at the end to increase the speed of the trailer, However, to do so I felt I would have lost some of the narrative, so I decided to leave some of the longer shots at the end because it helped with the narrative more. Another convention that I followed was to use building blocks in the trailer to help explain the story in a simple way without giving too much details away. I had planned on using a voiceover in the trailer to help tell the story, which is found in some thriller films. However, I found that it didn't fit in with my trailer and the pace of my trailer, so I felt it was better to use the building blocks instead. Another convention that I followed was to have music playing in the background of the trailer. This helped to add to the sense of tension and suspense, and helped to build up the trailer and helped to increase the pace of it. I edited the sound levels throughout the trailer so that you could hear what was being said, so the music wasn't drowning out the footage. A convention that I didn't follow was that I added non-diegetic sounds into the fight scenes of the trailer. This is unconventional because thriller trailers mainly use hitting sounds that are diegetic or more realistic sounds. However, I couldn't do that with my trailer, so I decided to add them in the edit. For my magazine, I kept with the Broken style by having the Broken Mind logo broken like I did on the poster and the trailer, but I also added the main image cracked and broken to follow the theme, with cracks in the background of the poster too. This was to keep the theme throughout all three pieces to keep consistency throughout my project. I looked at previous magazines by Empire Magazine to see what the front cover of the film magazine should look like, so that I could find the conventions and follow them. I also looked at Empire's thriller features as their main feature to see what conventions they used. I found that some of them had a very minimal front cover, whereas others had a lot of text with a large image. I decided to have a large image on the front with lots of text surrounding it. I did this because it looked very empty without the text, and it didn't look very good or professional, so I decided to add film names surrounding the image to make it look more professional and to fit in with the genre more. Most of the thriller films that are featured on the main cover of Empire magazines tend to feature the main actor on the film on the front cover. However, I decided to break this convention by having the film director on the front with the tagline "Meet the Director." I decided to have the director on the front instead of the main actor because I felt it fitted in well with the magazine. I also added a feature on the front in a circle, which is conventional for Empire magazines because it highlights that specific feature. At the top of the page I also added a masthead so that to show that it was a special issue magazine, and I placed this at the top of the page because that is also conventional with Empire magazines.